What is going on with cryptocurrency, specifically Bitcoin? I thought I would do a very out on a limb Bazi astrology of Bitcoin and what the forecast is, considering its volatility right now, going through the rest of 2025. So welcome, my name is Lydia Griffith. This is the Feng Shui and Bazi Chinese Astrology channel. On this channel, I often like to read the charts of famous people, countries, politicians, sometimes even a currency, because I think it helps us to better understand our own lives and our own astrology. So welcome. If this sparks interest for you, please subscribe, like, hit the happy bell so you don't miss a single video, and share this with your friends if you think it is worthy of that. And I will say I'm definitely going out on a limb with this. But why not? Go big or go home, possibly. January 3rd, 2009 is the day that Bitcoin hit the market, and it had no value. I'm going to pause there because it's important to know part of the reason why I am doing this video is because period 9 Flying Stars Feng Shui speaks of what? The fire is very much about what is the future of money? What is the future of money? And cryptocurrency, you look at anybody talking about the future, everyone's talking about cryptocurrency. Bitcoin is the biggest one. I know there's others, Ethereum and so forth. And for full disclosure, I have invested in the last few years in Bitcoin. BTC is how it trades. And this year is really kind of like a volatile year. And I think it's very interesting to look at what's going on and why I think going forward, this could be one of the biggest shifts as we move into New Earth, as we move forward in the years ahead, and what happens with the dollar. What happens if across the world, more and more countries begin to embrace the concept of cryptocurrency? And so I always say, I don't do a video unless I think it's going to be interesting. January 3rd, 2009, according to the Chinese calendar, this is before the year 2009. It's not the Chinese New Year. It's a month away. This is also not in the month of January. Usually the month changes around the 5th. So it's very cuspian. There's no time because unlike Wall Street, you can trade cryptocurrency anytime. There is no opening bell, okay? So that being said, we only have 3 pillars to work with, and that's all right. This was an interesting enough story for me to share this, because, I'm not going to waste your time or mine if I look at a story and I'm like, this doesn't really sound interesting or has real teeth to it. So this is a Yang Earth Rat year and a Yang Wood Rat month on the day of Yang Earth Monkey. Now, first thing I see with this, the rat, 2 of them, is all about accumulation of wealth. I see the rat as a dollar sign, or a crypto sign, or a BTC sign. But it's money, currency, We'll keep it at currency. And it is also about accumulation. It's about crowdsourcing. The monkey is innovation. It's trying out new things. It's experimental, curious, and shape-shifting. It's constantly changing, right? So what I was noticing is the yang earth is sitting here as the stem with the branch of the monkey underneath. Earth, metal. What is inside of earth? Metal. Naturally in nature, that's how we see it. Meaning that this is the perfect day for something like this to be launched. It is gold. It is the nugget. It is the currency tucked inside the mountain. And the yang earth is rooted inside the monkey, because the monkey is yang metal with a little yang earth and a little yang water underneath. So this gives it stability. Okay. One of the things you don't want to see in any Bazi astrology chart is where the day master's element, in this case yang earth, is not present in any of the branches. So you're just flailing out there in the breeze. And if you don't have good support, your nurturing element, you're in real trouble. So what nurtures earth is fire. This chart has no fire because it is born in the cold water of December. Technically, even though it's January. I've already said that. You get it. Anyway, so one of the things I noticed immediately, this is a story about money, and it's a story about this growth, this mountain holding very solidly this metal, the ore within the mountain, okay? Ready to be mined. But the missing element that is needed for its growth, and I did not go back into the luck cycles for this, because I want to look just at this year, And I'll put in the comments, or in the description rather, I'll put in the description the current luck cycle and what it means for right now. But what is needed, from my memory, I think it was all moving towards what's needed. Be patient with this, especially if you've already invested and you're worried about it tanking, because there's a lot of predictions right now that Bitcoin's going to go down. So the fire is what is needed for growth. And this is true across the board. Money is seen as metal, the metal element. But in order for the metal to shine, it needs fire. This is why in years of fire, where fire is present, traditionally, the markets do far better and people make more money. We haven't had fire consistently for a long time. This year of the snake is yang fire. Next year, 2026, yang fire horse, and the horse is yin fire. It is a blaze of fire next year. So I have a feeling that the markets are going to rally huge next year, and especially with Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency. But I'm speaking today just about Bitcoin. Now, when we look at the personality of this, what we're looking at is, and we can call this almost like an entity. It is something that needs fire in order to ignite growth and stamina. Slow, steady growth. So this entity is a survivor and a fighter. And it succeeds against all competition. It's on a wild ride. It is volatile, but it's committed to the adventure. It is committed to its success, its ultimate success. So that's kind of like the overarching, again, personality of this. It's kind of interesting. Now, when we look at the overarching flavor of this Yinwood Snake 2025 in relation to the Bazi astrology of Bitcoin, it's born on the day of a monkey. The snake brings a semi-fire penalty. Now, this is where a penalty can get interesting. To the extent that you can have the penalty harming you or aspects of you is dependent on whether or not that element is good for your chart or not good for your chart, right? For instance, if the fire penalty for some reason was a metal penalty, it would be a different story. But fire is needed. So it's going to bring serious volatility. But ultimately, since it's called the useful god, the element fire, it's not as bad. And in fact, I think there are key months where we're going to see it rally and recoup the losses that we might see, especially going forward. All right, so I'm going to break down a few of the things I'm seeing. When we start with now, where I'm recording this, is the beginning of the month of April. Actually, today might be the first day of April. I'm not entirely sure what the day is. It's my life out here in the country. One thing to know is that the monkey and those two rats form a semi-water trio. And when April comes in with the dragon, it's a full water trio and there's no fire present. So yes, I would imagine it is going to really plummet BTC in April 2025. Another month where water comes in is November. I'm going to jump around a little bit and then we're going to go month by month. The next is November. November is the month of the pig. It brings in a semi-water trio with the rats. And the thing with this that could be interesting is this is a yin fire pig in November. So the fire is there. The fire and water are doing what with each other? They're competing. And so the fire could rally, except that the water is so strong in the chart that the competition could work against it. But I think that November is going to be interesting to look at and watch. The other month that I noted that I thought would be interesting is September. In September, we've got the monkey and the rooster forming a semi-seasonal metal trio. And we have all that metal, which is great, except that we need fire in order for the money to shine. And what's sitting on top of the rooster in September is wood. So that's not going to help. So one of the biggest months I think that it's going to rally is June. In June, the horse of June battles with those two rats. And I've often said when you've got conflict, things tend to break open or break apart. I think in this instance, it is going to be a big breaking open. One of the things I think could happen is like a huge surge in June with BTC. Let's reel it back now, and we're going to go month by month. So we are in this, and the other thing that's good to notice is that the yin wood sitting on top of the snake of 2025 is feeding the fire. It's great when you have your useful God, the element you need in your chart for success, which, and I'll back this up a little bit more. In order to have success in your life, longevity in your career, and influence, you've got to have a balanced amount of your ruling element and a balanced amount of your nourishing element. That which rules you, controls you, and that which supports you. In this instance, this is yang earth. So it needs wood with fire. That is the absolute magic bullet here for seeing massive growth. So this year, even with the penalty, shows the potential for it to still rally. But the penalty throws a cautionary volatility into the mix. So it's not a full win like I think I'm seeing in 2026. That's where I really see things changing. All right, so we're going into April. It's a yang metal dragon. And I've said this in my video that I talked about the Bazi astrology for April. If I remember, I'll put a link to that video for you. And this, feels oppressed. The metal so heavy sitting on top of the earth. It's like it's blocking growth. This doesn't feel like this is going to be a good month at all for Bitcoin. And again, in April, we have a full water trio and no fire present. So I think it's going to be very difficult in April. When we come into May, May is the month of a yin metal snake. Interesting, because the yin metal with the snake is making the fire or making the metal shine. Okay, that alchemical interaction with those elements works to the benefit of the Bitcoin. But I think, again, we've got to be careful because this is amplifying for the collective. May, the month of the snake, is going to show us in great part what the rest of 2025 is going to be about. In fact, it will reveal your entire 2025 story for the most part. It's a month that I would definitely be paying attention to everything going on in your life. So with this being said, I think that there could be a very interesting rallying. So Bitcoin goes way down in April and then begins to come back up in May, but it's like up and down, up and down, up and down. That would be one possible scenario, but it's headed into June. A yang water horse The yang water does not help in this scenario, but the fire absolutely does. And I really think that that is where we're going to see the Bitcoin starting to really rise and rally. Then in July, yin water sheep. This is another month. Again, we've got the presence of warm earth with the sheep. And I think June and July, it's almost like May is like it begins to come up, going up into June and into July. Then when we get to August, there's the Yangwood monkey. And again, this is a monkey with a monkey day pillar. So there's competition, which in this scenario can be good, but there is no presence of fire except for the snake. So I think things could have a course correction again in August and again in September when we have a yin wood rooster. And again, that's bringing in a semi-metal trio. It needs fire in order to shine. So I think that we're going to see it dropping down again in August and September going into the fall. But then October really rallies big. We've got a yang fire dog in October that is looking very good. We've got a very hot autumn feeling. This is yang earth with yang fire on top. This feels really good. I think that's going to be one of the better months. And then November, again, talking about November, is a yin fire pig. I think things could still be rallying because even with the pig bringing in a semi-water trio, the pig also has wood and the fire. Alchemically, it could still be a very good month. December, I don't think it's going to be as good because we've got a yang earth rat. This is going to be kind of interesting how this plays out because again, we need the presence of fire. And is the fire of the snake going to be enough to make December still a good month? So you kind of see how things rise and fall with a market, right? It's not like anything goes like this and stays like this. Then we end 2025 with a yin earth ox month. And even though this is cold earth, I think this is going to be kind of almost like a stabilizing influence with Bitcoin. And going into this new year, starting in February 2026, I think we're going to see a real taking off, amazing growth for 2026. I hope this has been helpful for you and interesting. If you want to leave comments, please keep them kind and respectful. And yeah, this was an interesting read. Never done anything like that before. And I hope it was interesting for you. So anyway, thank you again for watching. And until next time, friends, please be well.